On December 7th, 1941, Japan launched a surprise raid on the U.S. naval base in Hawaii. On the 75th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack, we look back at some of the men and women who bravely served the country on one of the most tragic days in American history.
It is December 1941. World War II has been raging for 2 years. The German army, led by Adolf Hitler, has taken over much of Europe. The United States has been supporting Great Britain and its allies with weapons and supplies. Many Americans don't want U.S. soldiers to be sent to fight a costly war overseas. Meanwhile, in Asia, Japan is trying to extend its empire by force. The Japanese had launched a full-scale attack on China in 1937.
That prompted the U.S. to cut off sales of iron, steel, and oil to Japan. The Japanese need these materials to keep their war machine going. To get these materials, Japan plans to invade other nations of Asia.
But Japanese leaders decided they must first weaken the U.S. They began plotting a surprise attack on an American naval base on the Hawaiian island of Oahu. The base is Pearl Harbor, where Navy sailors begin stationed on tropical island. Is almost like being on location. That sailors and soldiers at Pearl Harbor spend a lot of time training for war. One that many of them hope never to forget. That hope disappears on the morning of Sunday, December 7th. Private George Elliott and Private Joseph Lockwood work at a radar station on the north end of Oahu. It is just after 7 o'clock a.m.
Lockwood, there's a huge blip radar screen that looks like at least 50 planes.
You're probably just seeing things. These overnight shifts will do that to you.
No, look!
That can't be right. Is something wrong with the radar?
It's working fine. We need to report this.
Okay.
Elliot makes a call to his commanding officer.
Sir, the radar screen says at least 50 planes away. Roger that, sir.
Well, what did he say?
He said that not to worry, it's probably a group of B-17 bombers who are expecting to arrive from California.
Oh, that's good.
But the blip isn't American planes. It is the first wave of Japanese planes on a daring mission to take out America's power in the Pacific. Their main target is the rogue battleships on Pearl Harbor.
At 7:55 a.m., Junior Officer Adolf Mortensen and Chief Carpenter John Austin are eating breakfast together aboard the battleship Oklahoma.
Is that your third plate of pancakes?
No, it's my fourth.
Save some for the rest of the Navy. A siren wails.
Not another drill. It's too early in the morning.
A raid on Pearl Harbor! A raid on Pearl Harbor! This is not a drill!
The troops at Pearl Harbor are caught off guard. Even as the bombs begin to fall, many sailors think they're hearing U.S. planes taking target practice. Meanwhile, on the battleship West Virginia, Joey Miller is doing laundry.
This doesn't seem fair. I'm a great fighter in the boxing ring, but they won't let me fight for the country. Instead, I'm stuck here doing other people's laundry.
Like all African Americans in the Navy, Miller is not allowed to serve in combat. Instead, his job on the ship is to cook and clean.
Suddenly, the ship is rocked by a huge blast. Japanese planes hit the West Virginia with torpedoes and bombs.
Miller races to the deck of the ship, where Captain Mervyn Binion is shouting orders.
It's a sneak attack! Get some ammo for those guns!
Boom, a nearby battleship is hit by a torpedo and immediately erupts into a ball of flame.
They sunk the Arizona. There's another plane. Take cover. We could be next.
Boom! A bomb explodes on the Tennessee piece of the ship flying through the air.
I'm hit!
Captain Beyond drops to the deck of the ship and holds his wounded son.
Miller tries to move him to safety, but the captain refuses to budge.
Captain, I've got to get a medic. I'm not leaving. They're chewing us to pieces. Someone's got to shoot down those planes. Miller races to a heavy machine gun.
He's never been trained to use that gun, but he begins to fire away at the Japanese planes that zoom by the ship.
I hit one, Captain. Did you see that? Captain?
Captain Beyond is dead.
Suddenly, a command comes over the loudspeaker.
Abandon ship!
Miller escapes, but many sailors on the West Virginia aren't as lucky. More than 100 crew members lose their lives.
But the losses on the nearby Arizona are worse than of any ship. A total of 1,177 men died aboard the sinking battleship.
Back on the Oklahoma, Austin, Mortensen, and other crew members are thrown to the ground by a giant blast.
This is real. We're under attack.
Look, water is pouring everywhere.
Man your battle stations!
Within minutes, the ship capsizes. Austin, Mortise, and 14 other sailors are trapped in a room below deck. It is quickly filling up with water.
The water is up to my chest already.
We're running out of air. The lights go out suddenly. The sailors can no longer see each other in the pitch black. We're going to drown like rats down here.
There's got to be a way out of here.
Austin dives underwater. Mortensen and the others wait nervously for him to return. Austin swims back to the surface and gasps for air.
I found a porthole.
Is it big enough to squeeze through?
I think I'll be able to push you out.
Austin leads each sailor underwater one by one. He squeezes them through.
Austin and Mortensen are the only sailors left. The water has almost reached the ceiling. They struggle to keep their heads above rising water.
It's working, Austin. You're a hero.
Okay, Morty, you're the only one left.
Wait a minute, who's going to push you out?
I'm too big to fit through that hole and you know it.
I'm not going to just leave you behind.
You don't have a choice, we're out of time.
Austin!
Once I get you out, you'd better swim for your life. Now take a deep breath.
They dive underwater.
Austin uses all his strength to push Mortensen through the torpedo.
Alone in the watery darkness, Austin knows he will go down with the ship. He is one of the 129 men who died aboard the Oklahoma, but thanks to his bravery, 15 other sailors escaped. Oh, the attack ends after about 2 hours. When it's over, 21 U.S. ships have been sunk or badly damaged. The Japanese have also destroyed 188 U.S. planes at nearby area. The hospital at Hickam Field overflows with wounded sailors.
Chief Nurse Annie Fox comforts a badly injured sailor.
My leg! I can't feel my leg.
worry, we're here to help you.
Fox gently lifts his leg and examines the gruesome wound. Another nurse turns away.
How bad is it?
I feel like I'm gonna be sick.
It's gushing. Now listen to me. These men need you to stay calm and do your job. Can you do that?
Yes.
Take this bandage and apply pressure to that wound. We have to stop the bleeding.
What if it doesn't work?
Smile and act like everything is fine. Don't let them see your fear. If we give up hope, these men will too.
Okay.
The nurses work through the day and night, trying to save as many men as possible. Over the next few years, American troops are involved in heavy fighting in Europe, in North Africa, and on islands in the Pacific. All more than 400,000 U.S. troops lose their lives. Germany surrenders on May 7, 1945. The war in Europe is over.
Just start here. Just start here.
Like millions of other Americans, Lockard and Elliott tuned in to listen to the historic radio broadcast.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a day which we live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked.
It's over now.
We can't stop thinking about our buddies who died. No, it's actually just getting started.
Elliot turns up the radio.
Aztec Reds declare a state war between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
The United States has officially entered World War II against Japan. 3 days later, it declares war on Germany and its allies in Europe. For many Americans, the Japanese attack is a call to action inspired by the heroes of Pearl Harbor. Young men around the U.S. stand in long lines to sign up for the Army, Navy, and Marines. Over the next few years, American troops are involved in heavy fighting in Europe and North Africa and on islands of the Pacific, and all more than 400,000 U.S. troops lose their lives. Germany surrenders on May 7, 1945. The war in Europe is over. But the war with Japan continues. In August 1945, the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
More than 200,000 people are killed. As a result, Japan surrenders on September 2nd, 1945. World War II finally ends.
This year marks the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's important that we honor those who lost their lives at Pearl Harbor and celebrate the courage of the heroes who stepped forward that day.
Woohoo! Take a bow.
We made it! I messed up!
You're